welcome you back to another episode of Tales of Logistics. And this week we're stepping into some sort of global tug of war between traditional freight forwarders and digital freight forwarders that usually happens behind every container, airway bill, customs form, and shipping lane. So the question is always on the part of the shipper. Should I use traditional freight forwarders or should I use a digital forwarder? And that's what the battle is. The battle from the present to the future, the next decade, 2 decades from this year. Who will take the lead when it comes to freight forwarding? So let's dive into it and see. You see, the traditional freight forwarders are the ones that have the experience. They have the relationship. They have the network. They have the phone calls. They know the agents. So they know who to call when things are down, when to call the person, how to maneuver situations. That's what traditional freight forwarders do. But the digital freight forwarders on the other side, these platforms are fast, they're automated, they have visibility dashboards, they have instant quotes, they have algorithms and APIs. So you see, both of them have their strengths. They have their benefits a lot. And the battle is always about the worldview, the old school handshake versus the new school dashboard. Who is going to shape the next 2-3 decades? The traditional freight forwarders, we can consider them to be tribal elders of logistics, more like the old guards of logistics and transportation. They have survived port strikes, customs shifts, trade sanctions, capacity shortages, unstable political and economic landscapes, even pandemic chaos. They've gone through all of that. And they have come out with experience, with solid relationships, with relevant phone call contacts, WhatsApp groups, and years of trust that has been built. So you see, they are the ones to call when it's midnight and your shipment is stuck at the port. They understand both the written and the unwritten codes of customs in India, Lagos, Nigeria, China, Europe, North America. They know how to navigate the system to get your shipment from point A to point B successfully. They have been doing that for years, for decades, and they have transferred that experience into practicality. But the weakness that these traditional freight forwarders have is speed and transparency. And for instance, if you want to move a shipment from point A to point B and you ask them for a quote, sometimes getting back to you could take hours, day or days. But the point is, it takes longer than even when you expect them to get back to you. And if it's something that you really need to move ASAP, you may have to wait 2-3 days to get a solid feedback from a traditional freight forwarder. And we live in a system or in a world where Amazon delivery delivers packages literally next day, a day after you click on pay for an item you saw on the platform. So it's going to feel, or it usually feels, ancient and unpleasant having to wait for a traditional freight forwarder to get back to you on a quote. Secondly, transparency is a problem that they also have. This is because they don't have a way of having you track where your shipment is. So you really have to call them, send them a mail or a text, and then they have to call the carrier and ask the carrier where the carrier is at. Then they're going to get back to you. And so you do not know in real time where your shipment is. So when it comes to transparency, they have a problem with that. You always have to keep in contact with them, or they always have to keep in contact with you from point A to point B, all through the transportation journey. These are the 2 weaknesses experience has shown that traditional freight forwarders have. Now, if we flip the coin to the part of the digital forwarders, we're talking about huge companies scattered globally. There's Flexports, there's Photo, there's Cargo One, lots of them scattered around the world from North America, Africa, Asia, Europe, everywhere. These guys have the same business pitch. The business pitch that they have is that logistics does not really need to be complicated. It's supposed to be fast, swift, and easy to take care of, just as easy as booking a flight ticket online. And that has been their selling points: instant quotes, live shipment tracking, automated paperwork, dashboards, API, real-time alerts. They speak the modern-day language of founders: speed, visibility, and predictability. But just like the traditional freight forwarders, these platforms, these digital forwarders also have their weakness, and their weakness often occur when there's a real world chaos, like when customs systems go offline, or when there's a port workers strike, or when the truck driver that has your shipment is not going to be able to deliver your shipment that day because it's got a wedding to attend or a festivity to take care of. And so your truck is not going to move. And they also have a problem with knowing how to navigate the system when something like dropping some sort of money in brown envelopes for some officers to let your shipment go through. These digital forwarders do not have the know-how, the experience, and the network to get these things fixed. So, yes, it's true that digital forwarders are fast, but you cannot automate relationships because in the world's busiest and messiest ports, automations does not really get things moving, but relationship does. Let's separate these two parties and we'll see their strengths and their weaknesses side by side. We've talked about traditional forwarders as being the experienced guys. We've talked about digital forwarders as being the ones that have fast speed and transparency. So let's see. Speed. You cannot get that from traditional freight forwarders. They are not going to get back to you the very second you ask them for a quote. You're going to hear things like, okay, let me check and get back to you. And the get back to you could be hours, could be days. But you need that response as soon as possible. That you're going to get from the digital freight forwarders because they are very fast. You want quotes, you get your quotes ASAP. You want speed, you get your responses ASAP. Then when it comes to transparency, again, you cannot get that from traditional freight forwarders because they do not have the ability to give you real-time tracking information. But you would have to call them, then they have to call the shipper, then they have to get back to you. You would have to call again, or they have to get back to you until your shipment moves from point A to point B. So it's very limited. It's always about phone calls, WhatsApp, text messages, emails to get your information. But if you want transparency, the digital freight forwarders are fast. You can get real-time tracking information. You can have an API, a dashboard, a notification on every movement that your shipment is making from point A to point B. You can feel the differences between both parties. Also, when it comes to pricing, that is where you gain a lot with traditional freight forwarders because it's negotiable. It's flexible. You can even get discounts because if you have been using their services for very many years and you have built a solid relationship with them, they can cut down some costs for you or even go an extra mile in ensuring your shipment gets to point B. But when it comes to digital forwarders platforms, you do not have that privilege or that benefit. What you see online is what you're going to pay. There is no flexibility. There's no negotiation. There's no extra mile. In fact, every extra mile they go for you is going to cost you. So negotiation, pricing has much more benefits with traditional freight forwarders than digital freight forwarders. Problem solving is another part that traditional freight forwarders takes the lead in because they have the experience, the skill, relationships, network of contacts, who to reach, when to reach the person, how to navigate the system when the system is down. They have that, which is something you may not actually get from digital freight forwarders because they're still working on it. They're still developing the system to see how they can get things done while experiencing hiccups or challenges along the way. So it's clear that the real conflict here between these parties is philosophical because while traditional forwarders believe that to trade is human, it's all about relationships and that you cannot automate relationships, the platforms, the digital forwarders are saying trade should be efficient. And at times, humans are the bottleneck that hinders the free flow of logistics and transportation. The truth is that the both of them are right and the both of them are wrong. You see, the presence and the future of freight forwarding is not solely for traditional forwarders or for digital forwarders. No, the presence and the future of freight forwarding is actually hybrid, because we have now seen traditional forwarders incorporating softwares into their mode of operations. We have also seen digital forwarders who are hiring export forwarders, operators, and experienced clearing professionals into their system. So it's a hybrid thing. The present and the future will only be yours if you incorporate both factors together. The human expertise and technology, they have to go hand in hand in your mode of operation, because logistics is not a problem of code or programming. Logistics is a human and machine coordination problem. So if that can be fixed by these two parties, fast, swift, speed platform plus skill, experience, and connection or relationships, you have solved a lot of problems, and you win clients, you get things done faster, and you grow your portfolio. I'll give you two real case scenarios here, one in Kenya and the other in Vietnam. So in Kenya, you have this platform that had been able to incorporate digital and traditional forwarders. What they did is, besides speed and transparency, they also had WhatsApp groups where they can also contact these agents or clients or customers and give them real-time information, negotiation, conversation on how their shipment is going. What was the result? Shipment clearance was 40% faster while increasing client base and customer loyalty. Platforms that incorporate both factors always come out as the one that is successful. The same thing is applicable in Vietnam, where a traditional forwarder collaborated with a SaaS visibility platform and eventually won 3 multinational clients. They didn't change their mode of operation or how they carry out their businesses. No, they just adapted. So you see, these two cases we've talked about shows that forwarders that become translators, that translate real-world logistics chaos into clean, predictable, and visible experiences are the ones that own the next decades of freight forwarding. So, in summary, there are 4 things that stand out here. The first one is this: forwarders who can predict capacity needs on the next decade. Forwarders who's got platforms that visualize logistics risk and movement on the next decades. Forwarders who've got teams of professionals to understand the local nuance and build relationships on the next decade. So you need to have a platform that combines these two factors together. And even for shippers, for clients who move cargoes or shipments from point A to point B, it is better to deal with freight forwarders who are now incorporating softwares and digital technology into their mode of operation, or dealing with digital platforms that are also hiring professionals with experience and network. These sort of freight forwarders can guarantee you a far more success than solely relying on traditional or digital forwarders. That way, your shipment gets to you faster, you carry it along, and you feel rest assured that the people you have given this contract to move your shipment from point A to point B are doing an excellent job. So that's how we wrap our episode up for this week. Please share it, keep subscribing, and keep supporting our channel. Thank you very much, and see you next week.